offer great food, and a lot of restaurants do offer great food, but not every restaurant is offering a great service. So what's one thing that you can do right now to try and improve your customer service experience? One thing that you can do today that will help set you on the path towards offering exceptional customer service.
Hey everybody, I'm Maria Campbell and co-owner of Cooks Who Care, and you are listening to Beyond the Table. Today is very special because we want to share with you experiences that others have expertise in, and do I have the guest for you today to listen to. And we're going to talk about service challenges, things that happen every day. You think it just happens to you? Not true. And we're going to hear about it first from our expert.
Hello, my name is Steven Wilson. I'm here to talk about service today. I've been in the hospitality business for about 20 years, mostly in the kitchen. I did about 5 years at the Ritz-Carlton, where we are known for our legendary service. I worked from a line level employee up to management and learned a tremendous amount there. I also owned my own bakery cafe with my wife for about 6 years, where we did everything from breads and pastries and lunches, coffees, but all along offering great customer service. I developed a passion for good service and have really found my niche there. Hope you learn a few things today. I define exceptional service as service that goes above and beyond what your guests are expecting. So everyone offers a baseline of customer service, but what exceptional service means is really truly connecting with your guests and creating an experience for them that makes them want to return to your establishment. Because everyone offers service, there's service everywhere you go, but what brings your guests back is that genuine connection that you and your staff make with them that makes them want to return and spend more money, which is ultimately the goal. So the reason that you need to offer exceptional service is because there's so much competition out there. You can offer great food, and a lot of restaurants do offer great food, but not every restaurant is offering a great service, or any establishment really, if it's a restaurant or a hotel or any sort of retail establishment. So with this increased competition these days, offering exceptional service is a great way to make yourself stand out in the crowd. And cultural changes are harder to start and maintain, but it doesn't cost any extra money. So the 3 steps of service is something that I learned at the Ritz-Carlton that is part of their culture, and it's perfect because it's so simple. 3 steps of service are to offer your guest a warm, sincere greeting using their name if possible. Second step is to anticipate their needs and to fulfill those needs. And the last step is to offer them a fond farewell, again using their name. Because people want to feel welcome. People want to feel like they're part of the family. They want that connection. Using their name if possible. So if you have their name on a reservation, if you've seen them before, if they're a recurring guest and you remember their name recognition is so powerful. If you don't believe me, next time you're at the grocery store or something, you see someone has their name tag on and they're checking out, use their name, say, "Thank you, Maria." And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, they're going to stop what they're doing and take notice, because name is powerful. Name is your identity. And so when you use the guest's name, you're making an instant connection with them and you're already making yourself stand out. So the second step, anticipation and fulfilling of their needs. So what does that mean? The nice thing about anticipating their needs is taking care of them before they even know they need to be taken care of. So it could be anything as simple as, when you're sitting them, the table's set already for them. You pull their chair out for them. When they get coffee, there's milk and sugar already presented. So these are very simple, basic anticipation needs, but they're very important. You get to know a little bit more about them, and it becomes easier to anticipate and fulfill their needs. Because again, it's all about relationships. It's all about making that connections and making them want to come back to your establishment because they feel welcome and loved. Mm-hmm. And final step is, wishing them a fond farewell. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you had a good time. I hope to see you again. And again, using their name. So Maria, thank you so much for coming to our establishment. I hope you had a really good time. If there's anything we can do in the future, let us know.
And so when I hear that, I go, wow, that seems so simple, but am I missing something? Did I miss a step? Am I only taking care of step 1 and then when they leave, I just don't care?
Right.
So I think these are really great things that you're saying, like, don't go overthinking it. Go back to what are the essentials and then how do we approach that as a company?
It can be very hard to give up control. But when your employees are empowered to make decisions on their own, to resolve problems on their own, it's going to improve the customer service experience. So imagine that a guest of yours has a problem, and instead of the employee that they're engaging with this problem making a decision, the employee says, hold on a second, let me go figure this out for you. Let me go talk to somebody else about how to solve your problem. So what that's going to do is it's going to make the guest feel like it's not really that important maybe because you're not taking care of it. It's also going to increase the possibility that somewhere along the line, it's like that game of telephone, where the more people that get involved, the more convoluted the problem actually becomes. And it's also going to increase the amount of time that's taking place in this problem resolution. So if you come to me with a problem and I am not empowered to make a decision to solve that problem right there on the spot for you, then it's going to increase the amount of time. The more time it takes and the more people that get involved is going to be a more disengaging experience for your guest. So the challenge with that, and the challenge that I've always found with my ladies and gentlemen that work for me, is that our overall culture, our employee culture, is to disempower your employees, is to have them look to someone else for an answer. And it's really hard to get your employees to make decisions on their own because they're worried, am I doing what's right? Am I going to get in trouble? And is this going to actually help? So to truly empower them, you need to be able to trust them to make the right decision. They're not always going to make the right decision, and that's okay. You can set parameters for them if you want. At the Ritz-Carlton, for instance, we had a set dollar amount that we could resolve problems with. But if it was under that dollar amount, we were free to do whatever we wanted. So your employees will make mistakes, and that's okay because you can turn that into a learning experience. Not just for them, but in lineup the next day. This is a problem that happened. This is how Maria resolved it. Is there anything that we could do to improve that? Is there anything that we could have done to make that problem resolution cheaper? They're not going to get in trouble, and I think that's the important part. Empowering them to make decisions will also make them better leaders in the future because they're already going to have that mindset of making decisions for themselves. And it's just hard for people to get in that mindset, and it's a cultural thing. But when you create that empowerment and every employee is empowered to solve your problem right now, it creates such a good service experience for your guests because problems happen everywhere. And what separates you from the rest of the competition is how you resolve that problem. And the faster you resolve it, and the better you resolve it, and the more the employee feels ownership over that problem solving, the better your service experience is going to be, and that's going to really separate you from your competition.
But now, how do I engage with them in order to keep that process ongoing and communication lines to be open?
Great question. You need to make sure you have happy staff. If your staff isn't happy and engaged, you can't expect them to offer exceptional service. They're going to offer baseline service. And we're not in the business of offering baseline service. We're in the business to be exceptional and to make money and to bring people back. I feel like in this business, in the restaurant business, in the hospitality field, we use our employees. They're not part of a team. They're a resource to be mined, and then they get burnt out and they leave. So, creating a family of people around you, treating them like family is really going to engage your staff. Get to know your staff, get to truly know them, their kids' names, their pets' names, their own birthdays. Give them their birthday off. Simple things like that, really goes a long way. Being cognizant of their needs, taking those 3 steps of service that we talked about earlier with the guests, use those same things with your staff. Offer them a warm welcome, use their name, anticipate and fulfill their needs because they have needs as well. They're human beings, they're working for you, and they're not working for a paycheck, hopefully. They're working because they believe in the organization, because they have goals that they want to accomplish. I know we've talked about that in the past. The goal thing is huge. Just talking to your employees. We've talked in the past about just sitting down with your employees once a week, once every 2 weeks, for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and just talking to them. It doesn't have to even be work related, just to get to know them a little bit. But figuring out what's driving them. If it's the paycheck, figuring out how to engage them a little more. If they're trying to move up in the hierarchy from a line cook to a sous chef, figuring out how you can help them accomplish that. If your employees feel like they're working towards a goal, they're going to be more engaged. If they feel like they have buy-in into the operation, they're going to be more engaged.
Okay, so So let's dive into real life examples. Can you share anything that you can recall with our audience that could be beneficial to help them?
The way I always kind of use an example, not a specific example to start with, but when you have people over at your house, how do you treat them? If your friend's coming over, you make sure they got the beer that they like. You make sure their dietary restrictions for what you're cooking dinner is appropriate to what they need. You clean up the house a little bit, make sure it doesn't smell like cat pee or whatever, like you take care of all these basic needs. But then you do these like little things that make them feel especially welcome, like having their favorite foods and playing a board game that they really like. Whatever your friend likes, that's how you want to treat your customers. You want to make sure you're treating every customer that way. So I always like to use a real world example of when I had my bakery. So we had a guest, her name was Mary Ann. She came in pretty much every morning like clockwork. She didn't get much. She got maybe one pastry, one cup of coffee, so she wasn't a big spender. But she was one of those people that we were able to really build a genuine connection with, and I know was a good advocate for the bakery outside in the real world. I know she talked very nice things about us and spread the good word. So one day, snowstorm, snowing very badly. I knew she was from Minnesota, and the snow didn't bother her at all because we had talked about it previously, because we obviously had engaged with her. I knew no one else was going to be coming in because it was not a good day. Time comes where she's coming. I get her coffee ready, put her on her space at the counter. And before that, I knew where she parked out in the street, so I made sure to shovel a path from the front door to where I knew she would park her door. So she pulls up, she opens the door. There's already a path literally carved just for her going from the sidewalk into the front door. She came in that morning and she was so excited. And she just really felt special because she knew that we were looking out for her. We knew that we were thinking about her even though she wasn't there. And again, it didn't cost me any money. It literally cost me no money, maybe 10 minutes to shovel the sidewalk, but I made that connection with her, and it just really reinforced how special she felt, which is what's so important to your guests, making them feel special, making them feel like they want to come back and talk about your business in great ways and spend money and spread the word, because that's the best marketing there is word of mouth. Take a full day, and experience your operation from your customer's perspective. I think you're going to see a lot of insight and a lot of things that are not working the way you think they should, or you think they are because you're only seeing it from your manager's perspective. Every day we get caught up in the whirlwind, the day-to-day tasks, the problems at hand, the job that we're doing every day. And I think it's important to take a step back, to walk in your customer's shoes. And what that means is not doing your job for a day or a couple hours, just anything to get perspective on what your customers are seeing. Because you have a perspective from this side of it, they have a perspective from that side, and if you're only seeing from this angle, there's a lot of things you're probably not seeing. So for instance, I went and saw a movie with my son the other day, and we went to the movie theater, and I was shocked because the trash was overflowing, there was pallets in the hallway blocking our path to the movie theater. There was a service door that was wide open. We could see all the back of the house operations, kind of destroying that mystique of what I assumed they were trying to present there. There was caution tape up on one. It was just, you could tell that none of the employees were empowered to take a step back and say, this isn't right, something's wrong here. This is not creating the experience that we want to create for our guests. And that's a pretty extreme example, but I think if you're able to kind of take a step back, sit down for dinner at your operation, or check in the hotel room, or sit at the bar and just watch and see what kind of interactions are going on, see what people are saying, watch people's faces and see what they're doing, and don't try to solve them right then. Just kind of stay back and just watch, see how your customers are reacting to how your employees are handling these situations. I think you're going to gain a lot of insight into what your operation is truly like. Because ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to figure out what's the real experience that's going on, and how can we improve it to make ourselves stand out from the competition, to make ourselves, the best that we can be, and in line with what our values and what our mission is.
Thanks for joining us at Cooks Who Care. We're here at the WeWork at Northern Liberties, and Beyond the Table is our new series, and featured Chef Steven today. If If you want to check out more information about his writing, he's on Medium. Please look him up on Facebook. He's also a consultant for Imagine Impact on service. And you can see here that he really knows what he's talking about. If you need help and you need problem solved, you can call Imagine Impact. And if you don't, you can actually look and take tips because it's honestly as simple as just watching things around you. So glad to have you today. Thank you for being here.